Hi everybody. Today we hear again from the Gospel of Matthew, and in this section we hear Jesus really going after the scribes and Pharisees. He is kind of calling them out on all of their misdeeds. He says to them today that, "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which appear beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are filled with filth and dead man's bones." Saying, in just the same way, on the outside, the Pharisees and scribes appear just, but on the inside, they're filled with hypocrisy, and they are taking advantage of other people. They were the ones who would study the law. They knew the law, so they would use the law, enforce the law, and do that for their own advantage, and sometimes commit the same sins that they are calling other people out for doing. So I think at any time that Jesus is calling something out in the gospel, it's a good opportunity for us to examine our own lives, to see if any of that same sort of hypocrisy, that same sin might lie within our own hearts. For I'd say for the most part, we try to be good. We have good intentions. But there are parts of us that need to still be given over to God. Those parts that are maybe in those inner parts of those tombs, those whitewashed tombs that are just not quite transformed by God's grace. So we might want to say that, yes, I'm a good disciple of the Lord because I go to church weekly, and that's a good thing. But if we're doing that and then not doing anything to change our outside behavior, if we're still going out and drinking a lot on the weekends, if we're still gossiping behind other people's backs, and if we're still just not, being nice to our family and friends, using bad words, that kind of says something about it. There's a little bit of hypocrisy in us. And those are the things that we need to ask God to help us to dig deeper, to root out the roots of those sins, those things where we might not be totally given over to Him. Now, when we do sin, when we realize those sins, we can always go to God for His mercy. So that's mostly found in the sacrament of reconciliation, which is a great thing and a great place to go and to ask God for forgiveness and mercy. But I find as well that God's mercy is not only found in the sacrament, but also in the ways that He convicts our own hearts to change from the inside out, to be transformed. To not just say that I'm sorry for this sin, but to say that I'm committed to finding the roots of this sin, to finding those and to rooting that out, to doing the hard work of retraining our thought life, whatever it might take. There's a saying that I've heard before that I think is very appropriate for us as we are trying to be transformed by God's grace. And it goes like this. It says, oftentimes we think that God is just concerned with our conforming. He wants us to conform to the rules or regulations that He has set out for us. But really what God is mostly concerned with, what He is dedicated to, is our complete and utter transformation. He wants our whole lives, our whole hearts given over to Him. That's what He is working for, not necessarily just some outward way of appearing to be conforming with the church or with God. So today, it's a good opportunity for us to think about those ways that we need to be transformed by God's grace, asking Him to make us more people of integrity whether we're in church or outside of church, that we might be saints, be numbered with them when we pass on to the next life. God bless you.